Glaciation happened in the UK during the last ice age. Snow did not melt during this time in high altitude upland areas, so this snow was squeezed and compressed into ice. The snow collects on the tops of the mountains and in any hollows. This ice begins to move slowly downhill, eroding the ground with which it has contact. The shaping of the landscape is from a number of processes which cause the changes. The most important are erosion, transportation and deposition. These are all used in glaciation to form the new landscapes. There are three types of erosion that happen during glaciation. The first happens when the water enters cracks in the rock. When this freezes, it expands, thus putting pressure on the rocks and weakening them, which can cause them to break away. This process is called freeze-thaw. These rocks can then become embedded in the bottom of the glacier, and as the ice moves, can be plucked from the landscape. This is called plucking. The glacier ice will have gathered rocks and debris in its base, which as the ice flows across the landscape grind away at the Earth's surface like a sheet of sandpaper. This process is known as abrasion. Once rocks have been plucked, they are transported away by the ice or water and eventually deposited somewhere new, creating these new landscapes. Corries are formed when the snow collects in the hollow of a mountain and compacts into ice. Freeze-thaw begins to affect the surrounding landscape, weakening the rocks. The ice turns into a glacier that overflows the hollow and begins to flow downhill due to gravity. As it moves, it plucks away the loosened rocks and takes them with it. These rocks act like sandpaper against the surface, which is known as abrasion. These processes together deepen the hollow. After glaciation and the ice has melted, the large hollow left in the hillside is called a corrie. The glacier will have deposited rocks forming a lip at the entrance. Often meltwater remains in the corries, which is known as a tarn.
But lakes and lochs aren't the only features created by glaciation in the UK. This is red tarn. It's one of hundreds of examples of lakes that form in depressions called corries or combes. These depressions are found in upland areas that used to be glaciated. Like the ridges either side of red tarn, corries are the result of thousands of years of glacial erosion. Most of these depressions would have begun life as small hollows. They were often north-facing. It meant that any snow that collected in them was shaded from the sun. Underneath the snow, freeze-thaw action loosened material, which was then removed by meltwater, a process called nivation. As the hollow became deeper, glacial ice would have begun to form, speeding up the process of erosion still further. Abrasion and plucking, especially at the back of the corrie wall, would have combined with frost shattering to remove more material, deepening the hollow. Erosion was even more effective thanks to the rotational movement of the ice, scouring the base and back wall of the corrie, deepening it further, wearing it back into the mountain and creating a lip at the front. What started as a small hollow would over thousands of years become a deep bowl shape. And when the glaciers retreated, these bowls filled with water, creating the lakes or tarns we see today. The ridge to the south of Red Tarn is called Striding Edge. It's what's called an arête, and was formed when two corries eroded back into the mountain side by side. If three corries combine, they can produce a pyramidal peak, like the Matterhorn in Switzerland. But glaciers haven't just shaped the UK's landscapes through erosion. They've changed it by moving and depositing material too.